The forests of the American West rise like a natural fortress, breathtakingly beautiful, yet hiding silent dangers beneath every shadowed canopy. In spots where sunlight barely touches the ground, wild boars are more than just creatures of the wild, they're a real threat to the families who rely on the land. In a single night, a herd can trample an entire field, wiping out a farmer's hard work and leaving them empty-handed. Today, we step into the woods not for glory, not for thrills. We're here for what the locals need most, to protect the land, safeguard lives, and preserve the delicate balance of America's wilderness. The 2025 Toyota Hilux rolled to a stop at the forest edge. The team fanned out, moving in formations drilled to perfection. Then the GPS buzzed. A herd was moving close to the trail. Without hesitation, we set up a forward line. Every step calculated, ensuring the safety of both humans and livestock. And then, a shot rang out, not to attack, but to create a safe buffer, keeping the boars from spilling into the cultivated fields below. An invisible wall protecting the harvest, one that the locals cannot build alone. We tracked along the forest trail. Fresh hoof prints, churned soil, everything marked the herd's recent passage. Years of experience guided us in predicting their direction, speed, and next appearance. In the wild, knowing nature's rules is everything. Sometimes, the success of a whole season hinges on a few minutes of precise judgment. Deeper into the forest, we unleashed our most loyal allies, the hunting dogs. They shot forward like living arrows, sniffing, tracking, warning of danger. When their barks echoed, we knew the decisive moment had arrived. The teamwork of humans and dogs created a protective ring, giving the wildlife no chance to reach populated areas. The journey wasn't over. Guided by our dogs, we threaded through every tree and hidden path. Wild boars can hide deep, using shadows and foliage as shields. But a hound's keen nose is not easily fooled. At the slightest sign, we set up our strategy. In these perilous forests, real strength isn't in weapons or speed. It's knowledge, discipline, and reading the language of nature to protect people safely and sustainably. In the thickest parts of the woods, where even dogs struggle, we rely on our senses and skill in reading signs. Rustling leaves, faint tremors in the earth, the unmistakable scent of boars. One wrong move could endanger both us and the farmers' fields. But hundreds of encounters with this beast have taught us calmness, precision, and how to handle every situation safely for humans and the environment alike. As the sun dipped behind the canopy, we identified the last zones that needed monitoring. Wild boars are smart, adaptable, avoiding areas of heavy human activity. Each shot fired followed U.S. wildlife laws, securing the farmland for the locals. Today, the farmers can sleep easy, but deep down, we know the boars will return. That's their instinct. And we, the silent guardians, will always be back, protecting the crops, protecting life in these lands.
Arkadaki. Azalıyor. Aslanlarım. Bekle gelsin. Yolu geçsin.
At the boundary where civilization meets the wild, feral hogs are more than just a threat. They are the silent invaders of America's grasslands, hills, and forests. Fields torn apart, farms ravaged, and even lives endangered by their rampage. We can't stand idly by. Once again, we set out to confront this rebellious force of nature. In today's journey, will we maintain the upper hand? Will these monstrous beasts yield? Join us to find the answers. Kicking off today's hunt, we venture into the boundless grasslands, a haven where feral hogs lurk, waiting for their chance to wreak havoc. After meticulously checking our firearms, communication gear, and releasing the hunting dogs, our group swiftly sets off. From a distance, through my binoculars, I spot a feral hog charging across the grassland, kicking up clouds of dry grass with each heavy step. Without hesitation, I set up an ambush, steady my position, and raise my rifle. Aiming straight at its vulnerable spot, I pull the trigger. The bullet slices through the air, striking true. The hog tumbles a few times before collapsing in the field, silence before it could even squeal. Suddenly, a rustling of leaves from nearby bushes signals danger. I instantly raise my rifle, eyes locked on every movement, tense with anticipation. In a split second, a massive shadow bursts out, charging across the grass like a living arrow. I swiftly track the target and fire decisively. The bullet tears through the air, striking the beast's flank. It staggers, loses momentum, and rolls across the ground before lying still, motionless. Leaving the grasslands behind after those thrilling takedowns, we press on, advancing toward the rugged hills where steep cliffs and treacherous terrain await. Here, feral hogs often lurk deep within dense thickets or hidden crevices out of sight. After checking our gear, securing straps, and readying our firearms, the team begins to move, slowly, deliberately, but with unwavering resolve. From a high, rocky outcrop, I scan the sprawling hills below. Suddenly, a dark shape darts through sparse trees, racing down the slope like a bolt of lightning. Without hesitation, I shoulder my rifle, lock the crosshairs on the beast's every move, and squeeze the trigger. The bullet whistles through the air, striking its target dead on. The feral hog stumbles, then tumbles down the hillside, completely subdued. On the opposite hillside, my teammate is locked in a tense confrontation. A frenzied herd of feral hogs is scattering chaotically across the rugged terrain. Unfazed, he raises his rifle, steadies his stance, and locks onto his target. A single shot rings out, sharp and commanding. The lead hog drops instantly, sliding down a rocky slope before coming to a lifeless halt. Suddenly, the barking of dogs echoes from the nearby hillside, signaling another prey's presence. I immediately move closer, cautiously scanning for tracks. Out of nowhere, a monstrous beast charges straight toward me, barreling like a swirling black whirlwind. Without a moment's hesitation, I hold my breath, raise my rifle, and pull the trigger. The deafening crack of the shot shatters the tense air. The bullet strikes the beast's head, and it collapses at my feet, motionless. The day's hunt concludes with precise ambushes and seamless teamwork among the hunters. The entire pursuit strictly adhered to legal regulations and ensured ecological safety in the permitted area. Night falls, and the cold wind whistles across the farmlands of the American South. In that silence, farmers still live in constant fear, because at any moment, wild boars could strike. With just one herd passing through, an entire cornfield or sweet potato patch can be torn apart, leaving devastation behind. From that fear, we set out on this journey, not only armed with weapons and experience, but also with modern technology to track and record our encounters with nature's beasts. Will we return with trophies in hand, or be defeated by our relentless foes? Join us now as the hunt begins. This hunt began deep within a vast swamp. The moonlight shimmered on the water surface, reflecting off sticky mud. The air was damp and suffocating, but it promised a dramatic confrontation. We moved silently along the bank, scanning the opposite side of the swamp. Beneath the thick canopy, a herd of wild boars was digging furiously into the ground, as if searching for something. I quickly raised my rifle, locking on the target. Bang! The shot echoed through the swamp. A boar was hit, collapsing into the mud, while the rest scattered in panic, each fleeing in a different direction. We didn't give up. Determined, we followed the tracks left in the soft ground. Suddenly, the sharp, urgent barking of hounds erupted, guiding us straight toward the target. There was, hidden in the dense brush near the swamp, a massive wild boar was trying to stay concealed. No hesitation, I tightened my grip, aimed carefully, and pulled the trigger. A clean, decisive hit dropped the beast right where it stood, ending the tense pursuit and restoring peace to the land. Elsewhere in the swamp, one of my teammates was also searching patiently. Suddenly, right in front of him, a lone boar appeared, unlucky enough to wander into perfect range. He wasted no time. The decisive shot sealed victory for us in the swamp. Once again, the mission of protecting crops and this land was reinforced with determination and strength. Our team quickly spread out, setting up ambush positions around the field. Suddenly, the brush beside us shook violently. A massive wild boar burst out, sprinting like an arrow tearing through the wind. I raised my rifle and fired. Bang! The beast staggered, slid across the grass, and collapsed motionless. No luck for it this time. What do you think? Was that final shot impressive enough? Let us know. We pushed deeper into the fields. Suddenly, a massive shadow charged straight at me, its glowing red eyes locked on mine, ready to strike. No time to hesitate. I lifted my rifle and fired in a split second. Its heavy body collapsed just a few steps away, leaving only a deadly stillness. Exhausted, our team began heading back, ready to end the journey. But suddenly, a lone boar darted across the path ahead, desperate for a chance to escape. Not missing the opportunity, my teammate instantly raised his rifle and fired. The bullet screamed through the air and struck true. The dark giant dropped in an instant. The hunt across the fields closed with countless breathtaking and dramatic moments. From the swamp's suffocating wetlands to the vast open fields, every shot was a blend of skill, patience, and teamwork. Everything took place within the boundaries of the law, to protect crops and restore balance to nature, supported wholeheartedly by the local community who helped us complete this mission. On the sun-scorched grasslands, where the wind whirls up layers of red dust along dirt roads, local villagers are struggling against the destruction brought by herds of wild boars. They storm into farms, plowing through crops in a single night, leaving behind nothing but ruin. That's why today we set out off-road vehicles and rifles ready for a life-and-death confrontation. What kind of fierce encounters will this unforgiving wilderness throw at us? Let's find out in the journey ahead. Still seated in the truck, we suddenly spotted a reckless target dashing across the field ahead. Within mere seconds, the shot rang out. The beast collapsed instantly. Too fast, too dangerous. An explosive start, foreshadowing that today's hunt would be anything but simple. We decided to get off the vehicle, moving silently so as not to startle any boars still hiding nearby. But as soon as I stepped into position, a massive black figure suddenly charged straight toward me as if to attack. There was no time to hesitate. My fingers squeezed the trigger. The bullet tore through the air, striking the beast's body. It staggered, thrashed, and finally lay still. We wasted no time and pressed on, following every trace of the crop-raiding beasts. Suddenly, the team leader ahead raised his hand, silence. Before him stood a massive wild boar, its eyes glinting with a defiant challenge. He advanced slowly, fearless. When the distance was reduced to just a few steps, he raised his rifle and ended it cleanly. That's the fate of those who dare to stand defiant before the cold barrel of a hunter's gun. After dealing with that target, we received a signal from the southeast. Boar spotted. The whole team rushed over. Since the distance was great, one member quickly took out his scoped rifle, carefully locking on. The boar, busy foraging, had no idea it was already in the crosshairs. Bang! The shot cracked loudly, the bullet piercing its mark. The beast collapsed instantly, never even getting a chance to flee. From another direction, a teammate suddenly shouted. I spun around instinctively, rifle raised, tracking the sprinting target tearing across the ground. Pow! Another bullet fired. In the blink of an eye, the beast was subdued completely. What do you think? Doesn't this speed and accuracy deserve to be our team's pride? And headed out toward the highway, a dark shadow suddenly streaked across my path. You won't escape. I thought. Without a second thought, I raised my rifle, finger tightening on the trigger. The bullet sliced through the air, hitting its side and sending it crashing into the dry earth. Despite struggling, it no longer had the strength to run. Tonight, the villagers would sleep in peace. The hunt ended with well-earned results. Everything was carried out within legal boundaries, strictly following local hunting regulations. Not only had we eliminated the destroyers of crops, but we also brought reassurance and a good night's rest to the people here. Looking at the grasslands torn apart under those massive hooves, we knew this was no ordinary threat. Enormous, ruthless boars had crossed deep forests and were now encroaching upon the valley settlements. If we didn't stop them here, terror would continue to spread. The guns were loaded. We quickly took positions along the rocky slope, the only path leading down to the village. We had just one mission: hold this ground. Not a single step was allowed to cross, because the peace of our people is something we will never trade. Join us in this journey. We crept up the hillside, every step measured to avoid snapping a single twig. The muzzles pointed toward a narrow trail, the path these wild boars often used. Near noon, a dark shadow appeared, a full-grown male, easily over 100 kilograms. I held my breath, waited for him to fully reveal himself, then squeezed the trigger. Bang! The bullet hit instantly. The beast collapsed after a single startled step. Another shot followed, just one, perfectly placed. The target dropped right where it stood. No one needed to say a word. We all understood. In hunting, timing and precision matter more than anything else. Peace didn't last long. Our sharp instincts told us. A herd was moving on the far side of the ridge. The lead boar walked first, scanning each step like a cautious scout. Without hesitation, I aimed and fired. The gun cracked, the lead boar fell. Instantly, the rest of the herd panicked, scattering back into the forest, too terrified to ever return to the fields below. Even with danger lurking around, we stood firm. Every inch of this land is our home, and protecting it from destruction is a vow we'll never break. If you think that shot was epic, don't forget to hit that like button. We moved to a new ridge. John carefully set up the camera, locking in the perfect angle. I lay flat on the slope, eyes fixed on the movement ahead. A dark figure slowly emerged. My heartbeat steadied, then I pulled the trigger. The gun roared. The bullet sliced through the air, striking the animal cleanly. It staggered, then dropped motionless on the grass. Once again, our smooth coordination proved the class of seasoned hunters precise, calm, and deadly effective. After hours of ambush, we lay quietly on the hillside, waiting for the dark shapes of boars to climb up after feeding in the valley below. Determined not to let them escape, the team watched every movement with absolute focus. John waited for the right moment, then fired. The first bullet struck the leader. Without pause, he fired again. The boar tumbled down the slope. That shot was the result of thousands of hours of practice, total concentration, and an iron will that never backs down. Before the barrels had even cooled, our teammates below signaled they had spotted another herd resting among the bushes. After a full day of tracking, this was it, the decisive moment. I steadied my stance, ready. The forest itself seemed to hold its breath. Bang! The echo thundered through the hills. The bullet struck the lead boar dead on. The herd scattered in panic. But their leader lay fallen, ensuring none of them dared approach the farmlands again. To reach success, it takes more than courage. It takes preparation, perfect timing, and teamwork among those who share a single mission: to protect. By late afternoon, just as we thought the hunt was over, the valley echoed with the barking of our dogs. Suddenly, a furious boar burst from the hilltop, charging straight toward me like an arrow. Holding my breath, I raised my gun. One decisive shot, and the beast fell instantly, ending the tense chase.